You have to point it at the machine. Oh, no, you're gonna have to hit the, you're gonna have to
You
hit
got that. I'll take this. Okay. You need to draw this. And you can choose to put in the funny names.
Don't put the fun names in there.
Or not. That's your call.
But they'll get changed a little later on.
Does that white thing go away?
You should have just used regular shapes if you're gonna make us draw this
You
thing.
don't have to draw the shapes. Oh, Grady.
I'm a failure, guys. I'm sorry, like I said. It's a pretty easy thing to draw. You just need two intersecting lines. I don't know why the one line's off.
Which?
So don't make it that way.
I did the best I could. It was good on small screen.
So, going up and down for your one axis is rotating. And essentially what that means for this is like, it's more tradition based. Yeah.
Okay, wait, going up and down is what?
Going up and down is like rationalism. Like, so up is more rational, down is less rational.
It's how well you think through your government
Okay.
and how it benefits the whole of the society as opposed to just a few people or
And then going across is your like love for the state. So like the one side is I hate government, and this one is another one is I love the government, which is a little bit of a hyperbole in this case, but.
And it reflects how much power you give the government to control your economics.
This
From
is
the
economic
left,
power?
Yeah, like how much control the government has over the economy is the left of it. Over here, like absolutely zero control over the economy, they just let people do their own thing. And over here, it's so they have laws set up so you can't establish monopolies or anti-fraud, antitrust laws, stuff like that. So everybody got it? Got the paper?
No.
Good. You don't have to, if you want to do the shapes, that's cool.
Yeah, you can make whatever shapes you really want for this.
You don't need the names, because the names are ridiculous, and you couldn't tell that. You don't know what they are yet. You don't. We don't need to jump to conclusions on what they are. We'll explain what they are.
Alright, is everybody golden?
No.
Good. Lane.
He's writing all the names. They're gonna give us the names.
Those aren't the real names. Okay. Good work,
I had trouble with the
They
shapes.
started at the top left. It's very well thought out and very against government control of the economy. And the first is libertarians. They're not supportive of government control of the economy at all, but they're still, pretty reasonable. Most people can benefit from that. And then at the top, which is even more thought out and more anti-government, is writers like Ayn Rand and Max Steiner.
And it isn't limited just to Ayn Rand and that.
Those are it's the idealists.
They're all by themselves.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah,
people.
it's
They're the
just
whole
the
class.
two, it's just the two guys.
And the people that follow them.
She's a girl. She's a woman.
Women might not government. Okay. It's over the economy. They still want the government.
They still want the government to be in the economy.
But these are like various authors who are against the like government control, but yeah. So, ready to move on? C.
Now he calls that the necessary evil because it still functions as a government, but it's not benefiting people as it could if you do some of his things, his ideas. But he's kind of biased because he's in the next group right here, and it's well thought out and beneficial to the people, but it also
By the so like the first group that we have are like the welfare liberals.
yeah.
And like in today's society we would call those people Democrats. Those people who like want more, who want government and who are well thinking out like for helping other people.
Yeah. And our writer was actually a socialist, so he would put this in the very well thought out category because he puts it, so he thought he knew what he was doing. That's all.
course, there's a
Yeah.
little bias.
So he's biased towards this line of thinking. And the top of it is communist, because that way everyone should get the most of the government, because everyone's equal, everyone has the same stuff, it's all equal and it's perfect for everyone in his mind. Because it's good, but it's also dangerous, because, you know, if you can turn all that government control into something bad, which is actually what this section is, but with the
Illegal isn't dangerous, more so because they have so much control of the economy, they can do all these bad things, like something, they do something small.
And then next is the anti-government that isn't as well thought out. And it starts with the counterculture in America. And his chart was made in the 60s. So at that time, the counterculture was the hippies. And they didn't really like the government, but they didn't really think out why they didn't really like the government.
They just danced naked in front of him.
And then even more anti-government and less logical are the anarchists. They just want to get rid of it completely. Because if you get rid of it completely, there's no laws, there's not anything to help people.
They want to organize to disorganize.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So that's not a good thing.
You trying to say you're an anarchist? No way you're an anarchist.
Just Jade.
It's a big X because that's bad. And, okay.
Yeah, like he rejects,
Lots of people like to say they're anarchists, but
yeah, like
Really,
he
you find
totally
someone who
rejects that kind of thinking. He says it's not very good for society, like that's not very good in general. So,
That's the worst out of the four, by far. And then you have the people that support government control and are also logical. And you might be surprised with conservatives up there, but that was in the 60s. So now the conservatives have moved more towards libertarian, and they don't want government control of the economy. So that's changed a little bit. So that's not necessarily accurate for today's conservatives. Then you have fascists, which are basically socialists, but with control over the personal liberty side of government. And then the worst is Nazis.
which
Where?
are fascists.
but he
splits
calls them
them up.
worse. Like he
Because-
says there are fascists, but then there's also these
Of
Nazis
course,
who
he's
just,
French, and they did take over a good portion of France.
yeah. But like his thought is, well, you have like a regular fascist ideology, but then you have the Nazis who kind of did their own thing that were even worse than what the fascists thought.
So Mussolini's better than Hitler.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone likes Mussolini. He was a school teacher, right?
And he doesn't like that either, but it's not, I guess it's just as bad, but in a different way than the people that want to just get rid of the government. And that's yeah.
I like it.
What's your
Okay.
question?
So you know how in math, when it's like an algebra or whatever, so if you were to put quadrants on here, would it go like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from good to bad?
Three, the bottom two are almost the same, just for different reasons.
Yeah, I think what she's saying, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like the anarchist people, like you would definitely put those as the worst. So if you were to put it in kind of that would be number 4.
What would be considered today's counterculture? Like, or is there one
Good question.
hipsters?
What?
I would think they would still kind of fall where they do, or they
That'd be
do on
more
here.
like the Tea Party that really hates government involvement in anything.
So like they might still be
So that's
far down
yeah.
here, but they might be a little further here. I would,
Yeah, they'd be right in the middle of that big X.
any other questions?
Who is our counterculture today?
We don't, either,
Like,
No, but who
well,
do you guys
hipsters would
think
be the
is?
counterculture because the hipsters aren't saying like.
that's a fashion style, not a thing.
Yeah, not a political ideology.
Like, I think, the closest thing to a counterculture we would find would be like the remnants of the hippies and the people who were hardcore hippies.
Maybe the people who, like, go off grid.
Yeah.
That would be.
Yeah, that would be like an anarchist kind of, or maybe.
Well,
Well, you're
they're
not
not
really
quite as
But
extreme
you're
as
not,
anarchists, they're
you're
the
not
same.
like pursuing the destruction of the government.
You just don't like it.
You
just
just
gotta
have
check
to-
out.
You're just
Keep
refusing
yourself
to be
away.
part of it.
The unofficial militia, well, yeah, they could be
an active party trying to take on the
they could be counterculture.
Stank camp,
False
Gold
alarm
They could be
anarchist
further, yeah.
party.
But they wouldn't be anarchy, though.
True.
They just want a different type of government. They don't necessarily want no government.
So they'd be between the hippies and
Mhm.
the
And
anarchists.
God's Gulch, they checked out so that the world would fall apart and then they could come back and rebuild it.
Yeah, wait till we read.
Anthem.
Yeah.
Anthem.
Maybe.
Okay, nice job.